Tonight on The Struggle, Queens stepping down from their jobs, how imaginary puppies can send you broke, and we hit the streets to capture the mood of footy finals fever. News out of Channel 9 this week caught many off guard when the iconic Tracy Grimshaw announced she'll be stepping down from the station's flagship current affairs show, A Current Affair, after 17 years as host. For those of you fortunate enough to have never seen A Current Affair before, here's Tracy announcing her departure in her forthright style.
And I have some news that I wanted you to hear from me before you hear it from anyone else.
She said,
"It has been my absolute privilege to host this show.
I can relate.
And before the gossip websites start telling you rubbish..."
Yes?
I'm not too old, I'm just a bit tired.
Which is good. I just hope they're being paid as well as the blokes, because I don't want to set up myself for a professional life of frustration and bitterness, given that she's seemingly made her way through the industry on her own terms. How does Tracy Grimshaw reflect on her time at the top?
Well, lucky me.
But in the wake of Grimshaw's announcement, some of our very own cast members right here at The Struggle have decided to send in their own auditions, outlining why they'd be a perfect fit for A Current Affair.
Why should I be on A Current Affair? Well, I hate my neighbours.
To come out and talk to us. Excuse me, sir. What are you doing?
I'm a fashion icon.
Take off your glasses and apologise to us.
I'll say sorry, but I'm not taking off my glasses.
I love animals.
Let's just say I've had a run-in with the law.
Scamming retirees, even 98-year-olds. How low could you go?
I am an advocate for safe sex.
It's the 5-year battle over almost 1 million condoms.
I love high-octane drama.
Hey, look out! Hey, easy. Hey, do not run us over. No, oh, you get this.
Right. If I wanted to run you over, you'd be run over.
I've got strong opinions.
Go up. I'm telling you now, get
We're just asking him legitimate
I'm telling you now, get
Mate, we're just
I'm telling you now, get
I'm all about self-love.
Well, we've got to go, but I suggest you go away and take a good long hard look at yourself.
I have. Everyone has. They love it.
What is this? A current affair? My uncle's currently having an affair. 76 years old and he's still got it. Woo!
They're all shoo-ins. Anyway, let's now check how Aussie travellers are faring overseas with Karen Kvetch.
This week, I am livid at Jetstar and its incompetence. My dear niece Clementine and an abundance of other Australian citizens are currently stranded in Bali due to Jetstar's failures. How dare they cancel flights without giving these poor people any notice? Now let's face it, most Aussies who visit Bali are not going because their finances are flourishing. So forcing them to pay in excess just to get home is downright diabolical. Now I have been in contact with Rhonda and Katut, and they are absolutely outraged. Those two paved the way for the union between Australia and Bali, along with Schapelle Corby, but she has refused to comment. Something about emotional baggage? Jetstar should have at least supplied the little Aussie battlers with a boogie board, or perhaps even a bintang singlet. Jetstar's behaviour is absolutely unacceptable, and I will not tolerate it.
How good is travelling? Moving on, and host of the Today Show, Ali Langdon, went home midway through a live broadcast last week due to feeling under the weather, and was replaced for the rest of the program by Brooke Boney.
Ren!
Hi, Marg.
Are you feeling all right? You don't look too good.
To be honest, I'm not feeling too crash hot today, Marg.
Do you want someone to replace you for the rest of the show? I can definitely do it.
I think I'll be fine. I just maybe need some Panadol, if that's okay.
Of course, yep.
All right. Well, thank you, Marg. And let's now head over to our ever-inventive mindset coach.
Hi. Tonight, I stand here feeling defeated.
I have failed at my job. One of my fellow TV personalities, Wayne Carey, the former football hero and now commentating star, is being attacked with serious, unreasonable and biased scrutiny. And to think that the perpetrators are my own disciples? Ugh. Yes, a bag of white powder fell out of his pocket in Crown Casino. But Mr. Carey has already said the bag simply contained crushed up anti-inflammation medication, which he carries around because he clearly has difficulty swallowing things. Pills, pride, home truth. Poor guy is now having his legal team investigate a disability discrimination suit against Crown. Because you guys don't believe that people like to snort their medication. And what? It's not like he's been caught with an illicit white powder substance before. Anyway, let's talk about the main issue here. What's with digging up incidents from 20 years ago? Athletes are hard-working people who need to rest and sleep. And sometimes they do it with their best mate's wife. You have to focus on your healing. And I want to recommend a beautiful practice. It's called ignorance. Some people even say it's bliss. See, I'm sure we all can agree that Mr. Carey might be a good bloke, but he's not the brightest bloke. So cut the man some slack. Just make sure you don't use glass. And tonight, because I'm disappointed in you all, I will talk directly to the one who needs my advice the most. My friend Wayne. Before you start listening to all this criticism and start contemplating self-reflection, consider just not doing it at all. Because if they don't love you at your worst, they should never have made you the king.
Some real mental gymnastics required there, Phoebe. Right then, we're off to a quick break.
Ren, I got your Panadol.
Oh, thank you, Mark. What a legend. I'll just get some water. Welcome back. Now let's descend to the dungeon and see what curious scenario is taking place downstairs.
Hi there, my name is Dominatrix, your neighborhood leather enthusiast, and I am back to dominate your screens. Now, while domination is my strong suit, a recent report shows my corporate babes are being held back in that area. Apparently, it'll take 100 years before women can run at least 40% of Australia's top companies. Essential census reveal that the Johns and Davids and other half-bald men with generic white names are still dominating these executive positions. More than a third of the companies on the ASX 300 still doesn't have a single woman in an executive position. Gender equality is taking a bloody long time to achieve down under. Longer than it takes for a woman to climax down under. Which we all know can take ages when men are running the show. And especially when men are in high up leadership positions, you call them visionaries, leaders, or Elon Musk. But when women are in the same positions, you hypocrites call them bossy or divas. You think women are bossy now? Just wait until men realize the term has been weaponized to oppress and subjugate women to maintain patriarchal control. To think, after years of evolution and the era of Me Too, women are still being placed in submissive position in our economic framework? You know, sometimes it's kind of fun to flip the roles. If our economic framework is not modified to give all genders a chance to be on top, it kind of gets repetitive. And vanilla, isn't it time to shake it up? Give more women a chance to bite the bullet, pull the harness and crack the whip? And for those who are investing in keeping things the same, I say be adventurous. With a more fair economic framework, we might just enjoy the ride all along.
Slay. Ever-irrelevant media commentator Steve Price has raised eyebrows that weren't his own after penning an article entitled "I'm old, male and cancelled." Price lamented being part of a so-called white minority which is supposedly no longer able to express its views. So if you would like to access Steve Price not having a voice, feel free to watch him on a prime-time national TV show that airs 6 times a week, read his columns indicated in the Murdoch Press, or listen to his radio show which doubles as a podcast. We're always here to help those without a voice. Anyway, let's turn our attention to Steve Price's #1 fanboy, Max Payne.
Welcome to this week's episode of What is Max mad at today? TV shows these days are whack. Or should I say, woke? For example, Disney Plus is putting out a She-Hulk TV show, and brother, I'm green with rage. The show is anti-catcalling, but has the gall to put up this debauchery? Oh, so it's rude when I sexualize women, but it's okay when they do it to feel beautiful and empowered?
Yes.
I'm also infuriated by the new Lord of the Rings show. The Rings of Power? More like Kings of Cowards. Like Elon said, all the men are evil. Since when have men been the bad guys? I'm brave, smart, and nice, right guys? The only show I'm not mad at is The House of the Dragon. Who cares about child marriage, incest, and violence against women, as long as a man comes out on top? We need to return to a time like that. Make Westeros great again.
Max Payne wasting everyone's time as usual. Over to Harry and Meghan now, who supposedly left the drama of royal life to do as best they could to keep out of the public eye, which is exactly why Meghan is 100% avoiding the limelight by now hosting her own podcast featuring totally low-key guests like Serena Williams and Mariah Carey. Regardless, let's cross to our resident wildlife expert, Bindi Prickle from Straya Zoo, housing some of its own animals feasting for the limelight. Welcome, Bindi.
Always happy to be here, Ren.
We've met quite a few animals now, haven't we?
It's true. I've introduced your viewers to the Barolaro, the little proud bird, the Davies dodo, and last week we met the lovable Shaq moose.
And you have a special edition today, don't you?
I do. Today I'm going to tell you all about the ginger prince. Originally from jolly old England, the ginger prince is now predominantly found in Montesino, California. It's a very vocal animal, almost sounds like it's complaining, but it doesn't actually do too much.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bindi, what's that?
What's what?
In the background of all those enclosures, is that a worm?
Oh, no. That's just a ScoMo.
Oh, what's a ScoMo?
It's a mix between a national bird and a parasite.
Oh, that doesn't sound like a good creature. Are you sure it's okay for them to be in, an enclosure with all of the rest of the animals?
I mean, it isn't illegal.
That's not a very straightforward answer, Bindi.
With the struggles brought by COVID-19, it's extraordinary circumstances. So the ScoMo has had to take up various different positions as an emergency safeguard.
It seems as though you're trying to mislead Australians. Doesn't look like we're going to get a proper justification for this, so thank you, Bindi. After this interview, I feel like I know even less about how the ScoMo has appeared in all of these enclosures. Tell us more about that ginger prince.
Ah, yes, the ginger prince from Montecito. You'll recognize them by their dour expression, their victim complex type emotional outbursts, their balding head, and its hyphomania.
What's hyphomania?
It's an overwhelming urge to touch things. In the ginger prince's case, his mate.
So like excessive PDA?
Awful cringe-worthy level.
Well, I don't think they're half as awful as the Duck of York. Thank you for introducing us to this colourful and hypersensitive animal.
I'd call the introduction quite a Sussex. As they say down under, Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
Anyway, time for a bit of retail therapy with the charming Scamantha.
Thanks, Ren. I sure have some interesting stuff on the market today. But before that, I'd love to thank all our enthusiastic customers for the support throughout our online puppy sale. If you have any queries, or did not get your puppy on time, don't call us. We're sure your cavoodles are on the way. Now let's forget about puppies. They're old-fashioned. Do you want to be the coolest pet owner on the block? Have a companion that is loyal and easy to care for. Look no further. Get yourself a Tasmanian tiger. So low in maintenance, it'll never reproduce. A friendly Loch Ness monster. Work from home peacefully, cause you'll never ever see them. A pretty unicorn. They poop out an unlimited amount of Skittles for the kids. A dodo bird. So loyal, they won't fly away and escape your captivity. We recommend payments to be made upfront to cover shipping, packaging, pet handling fees. Please do not call us to ask where your pet is, as we might be very busy. We are sure they are on their way, or at least we hope they are. We do not accept any returns, exchanges, refunds, complaints, invitation to court, calls from customers, calls from the local police, calls from the federal police, calls from RSPCA, or calls from anyone for that matter. Back to you, Ren.
Yay. Right, well, we're off to a quick break.
Take your medicine, young lady.
Welcome back. With pensioners able to earn an extra $4,000 this financial year without having their pension payment reduced, let's see how this will affect our boomer intern Marg.
Ren, isn't this wonderful news for me? Did you hear what our treasurer Jim Chalmers said?
To find a way to encourage older workers to work a bit more if they want to do that.
I want to do that. I want to work more. Can I do more work here, Ren?
Oh, of course, Mark. The only problem is that we can't pay you.
But I can earn up to $4,000 extra without losing my benefits.
Yeah, but we just don't have any money to pay you with, Mark. That's the issue here.
Well then, you might just have to find someone else to crush your Panadol, young lady.
Right, well, let's check in on our Inner North correspondent, Apathetic Ashley.
Hi Ashlinators, it's me, Ashley, and I'm piloting my brand new segment, Meat Watch, where I give my hot take on all meat-related news. Following false allegations that I consumed a KFC chicken wing, some fans have begun to say that I am not a socially conscious vegan, but rather a hypocritical vain influencer with no moral compass and a thirst for attention. They're wrong. And to prove my dedication to the vegan cause, I'm going to talk about meat for the next 2 minutes. Australia has banned personal meat imports from 70 countries that have foot and mouth disease. The ABC says the introduction of foot and mouth disease would bring farm exports to a standstill at an estimated cost of $80 billion over a decade. Now, I don't really know what this foot and mouth disease thing is. Personally, I prefer ribs, so I'm glad they're not banning that. Love Indonesia though. Going to Bali soon. Anyway, next one please. A city council in Haarlem in the Netherlands has introduced a motion to ban meat advertisements due to the impact of animal agriculture on climate change. This is such positive news to see a local council taking steps to make the world a better place. Get those nasty beef burgers off those billboards and put a real treat, me, on there. Now, that's a future I can get behind. A woman from Wiltshire in England with a cow milk allergy has tragically died after eating a vegan wrap that may not have actually been vegan. Getting a little emotional about this one. I mean, this wrap doesn't know who it is. Like, telling everyone you're vegan, but then, whoopsie, I might have cow milk. It's giving hypocritical, it's giving identity crisis, it's giving killed an innocent woman. To me, the wrap is the real main character of this story. Rest in peace, Celia. That's all we have time for today on Meat Watch. You can watch, but you can't eat. And if you're still eating meat, I'm cancelling you. Back to you, Ren.
Inspiringly disturbing. Anyway, let's head over now to some other meat lovers as we hit the streets to capture the mood of footy finals fever.
AFL, what is it? It is a religion for the Victorian people,
Ball through sticks.
but specifically you kick a sort of oval, three-dimensional oval-shaped ball through big sticks, and people are very excited by that.
Why do you think other people don't like football?
I think that in a society we have to allow for people to have wrong and even dangerous opinions.
Do you follow the AFL?
I don't follow the AFL.
Do you play the game?
I did when I was a kid, Auskick, yeah, but I haven't played since.
Do you think cocaine plays a big part in the game?
Not sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure some of the players definitely indulge.
Do you think that people who don't like AFL should be sent to prison?
As a minimum.
I've heard that Collingwood is a particularly racist team. Would you say that they are more or less racist than other teams?
I feel like they're an alright team. I feel everything's around the same-ish.
Do you think that the AFL brings people together?
Yes, definitely, but it also tears them apart.
Definitely, yeah, because the last time I went, we were people who've never been to the AFL before, and they loved it. They got really into the sport.
Enthusiasm. We love to see it. Let's now cross to Bob Cheapix, who's casting an eye over trending movies.
Thanks, Ren, and welcome to Box Office Breakdown. Recently, the very creatively named Spider-Man No Way Home, the more fun stuff version, swung into theaters in Marvel's latest attempt to web grab more of your money into their overstuffed pockets. It re-debuted at number 3 in Australia's domestic charts, showing that audiences will fork out $20 a ticket to see 11 minutes of new footage sparsely scattered like birdseeds throughout a film that's already 2.5 hours long. Speaking of films that have overstayed their welcome, Top Gun Maverick has reclaimed the #1 spot with a 27% increase of last week's gross income, despite a, albeit steady, downwards trend. This marks the film's 15th consecutive week in the Australian top 10, bringing its domestic total to $708 million. A very impressive feat, and honestly very surprising that Australians are so captivated by a film that is essentially a very long and bloated recruitment ad for the US Navy. One thing is for certain, despite being the ambassador of a highly dangerous cult, Tom Cruise is one hell of a businessman. Time will tell if the same can be said about Brad Pitt, whose Bullet Train holds second position, but is showing signs of slowing down with poor week-to-week holds. With a mixed critical reception, audiences sure hopped up this train wreck quick.
I gotta get off this train.
And finally, Steven Spielberg's Jaws was shown in select cinemas ahead of its wider re-release later this year, and took the #8 spot. A 3D and IMAX version of the film encouraged audiences to take one more bite out of the 1975 classic. It's a nice full-circle moment to re-release arguably one of the first blockbuster films around the same time as Jordan Peele's Nope, which itself is a creature feature as well as a commentary on audiences' obsession with Hollywood spectacle, as well as worker exploitation. Boy, am I glad we've moved past that phase.
Great to have you on board, Bob. Well, let's now check in on what's coming up later tonight.
After the struggle, don't go anywhere, bros and broskies. Stick around for my new episode of The Broject. Tonight, I'll be interviewing the new Prime Minister of the UK, who my producer is telling me is a woman! Liz Truss. So, how do you spell that?
We didn't have a lot of focus on spelling in my school. I was at school in the 1980s.
Don't you think a man is better suited for this job? Like your predecessor, Boris.
History will see him as a hugely consequential Prime Minister.
Well, at least we agree on something. The last woman to be Prime Minister, Theresa May, only lasted 3 years. How long do you think you'll last? And what comes next?
In December, I'll be in Beijing, opening up new pork markets.
That's all coming up tonight, after the struggle. One last thing, viewers. While I may disapprove of female heads of state, I gotta give props to the Queen. Dying after shaking Liz Truss's hand? Power move. Follow me online at therealtruthnotspamipromise.com. I got kicked off the other social media sites for being too much of a man. Back to you, Ren.
Well, just like that, we're at the end of yet another episode of The Struggle. And with Bali goers stranded in their bintang singlets, women justifiably unsatisfied by the corporate bedroom, and completely legal anti-inflammatory scandals, people are a little on edge of late. So it's really important we're all making an effort to be nice to one another. In other words, don't go spitting on people like Harry Styles allegedly did to his co-star Chris Pine at the Venice Film Festival. How did we actually get to a point where a Hollywood rep is having to earnestly issue a statement saying, hey, just to be clear, Harry Styles did not spit on Chris Pine? Guess it's a sign of the times. This futile drama has gone wild across social media, with one particular rabbit hole leading us to the discovery of Chris Pine's real name, which is in fact Christmas pinecone. Kindness is key, especially as we inch our way closer to the holiday season, and as it turns out, we're already in September. What the actual... The struggle. It's real.